Welcome back to the Purple Pod, the best K-State podcast out there. I'm Stevie B.
I'm Kenny G.
And in today's episode, we're breaking down K-State at Tulane. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, tell your friends. We are getting really close to 300 subscribers. Let's get things rolling, man. Let's get things rolling.
That's right. It is the Purple Pod pre-game analysis, pre-game video. Wait, if we're gonna be pre-gaming, hold on.
K-State's got a big game this weekend. They are 16th in the coaches poll, 17th in the AP poll, playing at again Tulane.
If we're gonna be pre-gaming, we gotta be pre-gaming. This is a pre-game. I got a pre-game. Hold
on. What?
I'm not gonna show the label. We're not sponsored. We're not sponsored, but I will say it's a good friend of mine, and his last name is Woodford.
Ooh, what? Ooh, a little juice.
Tip of the tongue, teeth in the lips.
Got to love it. Gotta love it.
All right.
Are we watching a game together on Saturday?
We should. If we're not, I will be devastated.
Yeah, I tried calling you the other day and you didn't reply, but or call me back. But that's what I was calling about.
Oh well, I must have been busy.
Yeah, it must have been. All right, let's get rolling here. Initial thoughts. K-State opens as around a 10.5 point favorite at Tulane Saturday, 11 a.m. in New Orleans. What's your initial thoughts here? K-State going to win by a couple scores here? What do you think?
Wow, we're just diving right in.
I mean, you don't have to give me a score prediction, but like, what's your initial thoughts here?
My initial thoughts are, we're going into their home. We're going to be trying to look at some sweet revenge that took place a couple years ago when they took a win at our home court field, whatever you want to call it, and we need to pay them back. I mean, that's just how it goes. We just need to pay them back. It's a whole different kind of team, though, so it's not quite gonna be the sweet revenge like as if we were to play them the very next year. But it still is an important road game. They're amongst one of the better schools, like smaller schools that we would play against. They're good. They've got a recent history of being really good. They did lose their coach, and I don't really think that really affected their game. I mean, they shut out their first game when they played. I don't know who they played. Some team with SI or Southeast Louisiana, I believe. Yeah, they were able to take it to them. I don't know how good that team is, honestly, but they were able to beat them 52-0. So they're a good team. But I believe that K-State is a much, much better team. Yeah, I think we'll be ready. I think it was good that we had a game that was a little unfortunate. If we would have came out and just guns a-blazing, we probably would have overlooked this team and maybe would have thought maybe we would have been a little bit complacent. Like, probably. Oh man, we're too good. Probably not. I don't know, but a win is a win, and it's good to know that you have some things to work on, so you can like kind of dial it in as the season progresses. There's going to be other things that opponents are going to pick up on. We're going to get into later of that because you're not even a coach. You don't do this for a living, and you picked up on some things that were kind of alarming that you were telling me that.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that, but as far as initial thoughts go, I'm confident going into this road game, our first road game of the season. I'm confident that we'll get the job done. I'm not really necessarily worried about last week's game or last Saturday's game. I'm ready to see this road game. I'm ready to see what we can do on the road. So
absolutely. So my initial thoughts are, I like K-State a little bit more than I did yesterday in terms of their winning probabilities. In terms of actually liking K-State, I mean, nothing's going to change that, right? Like, there's nothing that can change how much I like my alma mater where I got 2 of my degrees. But no, so a few things. Yeah, they did win 52-0. I went back and I did watch some highlights. They were very balanced, about 50-50 run and pass in terms of Tulane. They did get a turnover, ran it back for 6 points. On paper, that sounds like they killed it, which they did. But the team they played won 3 games last year. Okay. The team K-State played is the 3-time defending conference champions. And Tulane does have a brand new head coach, but this head coach is someone that K-State has coached against before. K-State actually played against him, John Sumrall, last year at Troy, where he was the 2-time defending conference champion in his league. They're now in I think it's an AAC, and it's not expected to be completely full, which is a little bit of a shock. There's still some tickets left, so if any K-State fans want to go, they can. When breaking down the numbers a little bit further, I actually pulled up something on Twitter today. I'm going to put it up here on the screen. A lot of K-State fans were complaining about the offense, me included, and I'll break it down a little bit more later. But PFF, Pro Football Focus, they look at every single position and team and all that. And K-State graded pretty darn high. I mean, that's basically in the top 10 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. K-State graded out to be the 7th best team in college football in terms of how they did last week in a 41-6 win at home. So that's a pretty impressive number. 91.2, just below Will Howard's Ohio State. So I do like this matchup. I do think it's going to be good for K-State to go on the road. But like I said, I like K-State a little bit more after breaking down film, breaking down some numbers, looking at things a little bit more closely. K-State's not going to be overlooking this team whatsoever after what happened a couple years ago. Yeah, man, I think it's going to be fun. This is going to be a good game.
Absolutely, man. I agree 100%. I think it's very interesting. I wonder where that 90. We know where that score really came from. It came from the defense, and we're gonna get into it though. But yeah, that 91.2 really did come from primarily the defense and maybe a little bit of the special teams getting that block punt for the touchdown. They probably threw a little bit of that in there, but I like to see this. I want to keep seeing K-State grow up the ladder of the ranked teams. I mean, currently we're sitting at 17th in the AP polling right now. The coaches polling actually shows us at 16th. It's actually incredible that we got FSU is not even on there, but rightfully so because they've lost 2 games now already. So they're not even in the top 25. But yeah, man, I'm excited to get into this. Steve, where do you want to go first?
Yeah, let's go ahead and break down the stats here. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I'm gonna just go ahead and get into some stuff on K-State. So I went back and I broke down the film. I went back and I watched about 80% of the football game from Saturday, until right about when the backups came in. And K-State's had 10 possessions in the whole game. And 6 of those 10 possessions, K-State ran the ball on the first play of the drive. And of those 6 drives, K-State ended up getting points on 5 out of those 6. And the one time they didn't was the last drive of the game with backups in. Now, K-State started with the ball passing 4 times out of those 10. And K-State did not score points on 3 out of those 4. And in fact, of those 3, K-State went 3 and out twice and threw an interception on the other. So it's pretty imperative, in my opinion, that K-State starts out running the ball early and often with a pair of really, really good running backs, Smash and Dash, as you call them, Sonic and Knuckles. I'll let you break down exit 313 here in a minute. But I thought it was really interesting how important it was for K-State to run the ball early and often in drives and how much that really set up success for later in the drive.
Yeah, so just to break that down for the listeners, in case you're not super intelligently inclined like Steve is, basically when K-State starts the drive with a run, they end up scoring more often than not. When they start off the drive with a pass, they don't score as much, if hardly at all.
Small sample size.
It's
One
a small
game.
sample size, and it is one game, and we're just going off of this one game. We know, and we've heard it 1,000 times. There's probably 1,000 podcasts out there that are talking about, oh, well, the offense was really vanilla, or as Tim Fitzgerald said, boiled chicken.
Yeah. I heard that. I heard
like,
that.
What? I'm like, that guy comes up with the most random.
The analogies, metaphors he comes
I
up
think
with.
my brain is creative. His brain is way creative, more creative than mine. So props to him. But yeah, I'll break down the exit 313. So we got DJ Giddens with the 3-1, and we've got Dylan Edward with the number 3. That makes 313, which if you guys are from the Manhattan area, you know that if you want to take the exit on Kansas, on I-70, going through Kansas, exit 313 is the exit indeed to get to Kansas State. So it's a really cool picture right there. It really kind of shows the 313. That's our running backs right there. And they just, I don't know. I just saw it was like 313. Oh, exit 313. Nice. Because I have to take that exit all the time when I'm delivering my, when I'm doing my job. So it just kind of reminded me of that. So we got the 313 special in the backfield with the 1-2 punch. And it really just sets up K-State. Honestly, jokes aside, this is probably arguably the best, I would say the best duo running back 1-2 punch that we've had in a long time.
I'd put it third, and here's where I'd put it as I put this away for a second. I'm gonna put exit 313 third, and here's where I'm gonna put it. So
sticking with a theme of 3 here. I see
maybe even fourth. It's a very good combo. In fact, I tweeted that out exit, and I put those photos together here. And shout out to you for coming up with that and figuring that out. 619 likes, by the way, on the old Twitter machine.
Dang.
On X. So shout out to you for noticing that.
Dude.
I would only put that combination behind Josh Scobie, Darren Sproles, 2001.
Of course.
I would put it behind DJ Giddens and Deuce Vaughn, Big 12 champions. You know what I mean?
Was DJ really?
He was the backup. He was the now he.
Well, I wouldn't say. I'm not saying backups here. I'm saying like alternating. Yeah, an alternating deal. I think Deuce
he had a decent amount of touches. He really did.
Who was Keithan Valentine? I know he
was behind. Gosh, what was his name? NFL running back. Gosh.
He was also a part of a 1-2 punch, if I'm not mistaken, in his, I think, junior year.
So he was on. Hold on, let me pull it up here. And I feel so stupid for not noticing.
Well, we're never going to get him back on the pod.
Daniel Thomas. He was with Daniel Thomas, and Daniel Thomas ended up playing for the Miami Dolphins. But yeah, so that was a really good combo. 1998 was a really good combo. In 99 as well, with little Frank Murphy, Eric Hickson in there as well, and David Allen, the kick returner. So this is a really good combo. Excited to see what they do in the future.
Yeah.
It's already top 5 all time in terms of 1-2 punch, and we'll see what they can do moving forward. So
yeah, and also what's also been said, and rightfully so, and I want the listeners to hear this. Because it's been brought up a couple times over the course of like a lot of the press conferences and stuff, but literally the best players on the K-State team, offense and defense, are all Kansas kids.
Yeah, I mean the entire backfield, right? And
it's amazing.
So
even though the defense, you got Des Purnell, and you've got
Toby Osunsanmi and Jacob Parrish and Keenan Garber and Austin Moore.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a ton of Damian Leo. I mean, there's a ton of guys.
Like the best performing K-State players are from Kansas. That is so cool that K-State's able. Well, first of all, it's cool that Kansas is like harvesting this amazing talent for one, and two, that they're actually sticking to Kansas. They're like staying here, and it just kind of goes to show the recruitment process that we have. And I mean, we always get the joke about us being a flyover state, but people are going to notice us eventually. They're going to realize that we've got some skill here. I mean, we've had some big names come through. So
I'm gonna pull this up really quick before we get into our breakdown. Yeah, so in terms of the depth chart,
they be built different, my boy.
There are 25 Kansans on the K-State depth chart as of right now. 25 Kansans.
Wow.
Yep. Guess how many are on the KU depth chart?
Oh, I would love to hear this. What is it, 3?
Yeah, 25 to 3.
It's 3.
I'm not even kidding. 25 to freaking 3, bro.
I knew it was a low number. I just didn't.
Them Kansas boys are built different. Both Kenny and I are former Kansas high school football players. Me for Manhattan, him for some little school down the road. I don't know if you ever heard of it, some Riley County or something.
Yeah, we just happened to produce a little guy named Jordy Nelson who went on to win a Super Bowl. No big deal.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be in the same team with them at that time. So that,
no big deal.
No big deal.
All right, let's get into this breakdown. We are 16 and a half minutes in. We are just now getting into. We talk K-State Tulane, but here are the numbers. And now, like I said, K-State, these numbers are based off of the first game only. K-State played against a 3-time conference champion, while Tulane played against a team that won 3 games a year ago. Southeast Louisiana is who they played. So these numbers are going to reflect that. But this is what we're looking at here. Tulane does appear to have the advantage in a lot of areas in terms of our offense against their defense. That is not a huge shock when looking at what K-State did offensively last week. It does appear K-State's got the advantage defensively. There's a few spots where it felt like it could go either way, but they are pretty good in the red zone on offense and defense, and they did have that pick 6 last week, and K-State had a couple turnovers, so that's why that's there. To me, when I look at this, these are all relative numbers. I'm looking at that sacks allowed.
Yeah, I know.
And, we already know K-State gets off after the quarterback, man. K-State allows 0. They've already had 2 against a bad team. How many are they going to have against this amazing, defensive line that was, in my opinion, bar none, the best unit for K-State last week?
Right. I'm also looking at it's like you said, the stats are a little bit skewed because of what they just played or who they played before. But, the scoring defense for Tulane first, it's like, well, I mean, who did you really play?
These guys are running. These guys are running wide open when they're on offense, and then when they're on defense. That team was just gone off.
But you're absolutely right. But when you got to look at the sacks and the sacks allowed, K-State's 18th in the country right now for 4 sacks. I mean, we were really getting after the ball. We were showing lots of blitz. We even said in our post game review that K-State's D linemen were the best part of the K-State defense in that game. I mean, they were really just putting it to them, getting off blocks, and just shutting down the run, shutting down any time that the quarterback he had no time. He was just highly pressured so much, and a lot of the sacks that didn't have, a lot of the times where he didn't get a sack, he just ended up throwing it away or giving it away or whatever. He literally was spooked, to say the least. They were just getting after it. So I'm really interested to see how we continue to pressure going forward, not just with Tulane, but every single team after that, because it just looks like a shining beacon on our team is the D lineman, and then complementing that is of course the linebackers who really just clean up the tackles on top of that. I mean, we just saw Des Purnell put on a clinic in the last game. I'm sure he's going to continue to get better as the season goes, and I can't wait to see that. I mean, passing defense is kind of crazy that we're 12th. I mean, I thought we would. I mean, I guess it's okay, but our rush defense being 9th, I can totally see that. I mean, we really shut down their entire rush, and that's basically all they had. I mean, they had 38 carries for 36 yards. I mean, that's pretty pathetic, but on their part, but it's amazing on our part. So
I said it wrong. They had 2 sacks on defense, and they've allowed 0, just like K-State has allowed 0.
right.
When you're looking at these colors, there are a few that are darker than others, and that just means that is at least a 50 spot difference in terms of where they are ranked. The gray spots are within 1 or 2 spots of each other, so that's why they are gray. But the darker ones is what you really want to look at here. So I'm still very, very encouraged by what K-State can do. Yeah, I mean, so really looking back at this, that pass defense, and when I was looking at the film, and I even texted you about this, that team we've just played had 3 deep balls that really concerned me. And when I went back and watched that first one that was dropped right in the basket, VJ Payne was all over him. Like, he was right there. He may have even been the reason why he didn't catch it. Like, he probably had his hand in the basket. Either way, it was probably going to be incomplete because VJ Payne, starter, even on that Big 12 championship team a couple years ago, he was right there. And then on the other one, at 3rd and 19 was a broken play. Jordan Riley got caught looking in the backfield, and that's why they threw it over the top of him. It was just a play that happened. That's going to happen every once in a while. And then that last one where it looked like Marquise Siegel got beat. Yes, he was playing a soft man on his guy, but he was expecting more safety help, and we actually had a backup in at safety, Colby McAllister, who actually got the touchdown earlier in the game. But had that been one of the starters, I'm not sure that guy beats him there. And Marquise Siegel is more of our 3rd cornerback anyways, the nickelback. He does play some safety as well, but he's more of that 3rd cornerback. And the guy they threw it to on that play was their number 1 receiver, who was their number 1 receiver from a year ago. So I'm not super actually worried about that as much as I was earlier, as I put down a stats breakdown. We've all looked at that just enough. So I feel a lot better after watching the film than I did watching it live. Offense and defense, really. I felt a lot better about where K-State was at following the rewatch. And I feel like if you rewatch it, I feel like you'd see the same things as I did. So
yeah, Steve, you want to get in on some of this action here in the chat? We've got a live chat going.
Yeah, go ahead. Go bring them up. I'll let you bring them up.
Yeah, okay. So we got Jor here, and he says, can't see Tulane moving the ball well against this defense. I could not agree more.
I watched their film. Their quarterback does have a very quick release. They remind me of Baylor, where they run a lot of shotgun and do quick releases. K-State does pretty well against Baylor the last couple of years. So I agree with that. K-State's defense is solid. And K-State's corners specifically are very good. Jacob Parrish was all over the field on their rewatch. He's going to do pretty good against the receivers, even though they have a receiver from USC as their number 1 on this Tulane team. So I feel like they're going to move it a little bit, score a little bit more than we allowed this past week, but I still feel like our defense is probably going to win us a game.
Right. Well, I think he's more talking about the runners or the rush offense, because they're like a star is like their running back. Like,
yes, Mensa, I think is his name.
Yeah, that is basically their offense. If we can actually contain him, I don't think we're going to shut him down. But if we can contain their running back, I can't think of his name either. But I think that's going to wait. Makai Hudges, right?
I'm pulling it up right now.
Hughes.
I mean, whenever you make a team one-dimensional, you're going to do pretty good. Makai.
Right. Well. Yeah, Makai Hughes, like, so he is supposed to be like their superstar, and if we can actually contain him, I think we'll be good.
I mean, he only had 14 carries for 59 yards against a bad team. I mean, a 4.2 yard average. I mean, we saw what DJ Giddens did against a way better team and a way better defense. So
Sure.
I feel pretty good about our defense against this team. I really do.
Yeah. I from what they showed, like I said, this is our defense is quite literally our shining beacon on this K-State team. It's quite amazing to witness. I mean, if they can be consistent in what they just showed us from the first game. If they're going to be inconsistent, then that's going to make it really upsetting.
What did you say in the last podcast, man, that you want to get some merch on? What did you say?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, of course, like we need to we got to get the word out there, everybody who's watching. We need to get a merch team set up, and we need to start making this merchandise, and it's going to say, "In Clanderman we trust." We need to have that posted up on shirts.
Hashtag Team Clandy.
Clandy man. We need to we need to make "In Clanderman we trust" hats, beer koozies, the whole nine. Like, we need the whole thing. Okay, so we got we good. The mustache stays until the Cats lose. Steve, can you commit to shaving your goatee to a mustache?
Oh, I don't know about that, dude.
No, dude. If you did handlebars and then you kept it until the Cats lose,
I will keep the mustache. I don't know about shaving off everything else. I really don't. But shout out to Get Along and Jor. They have both been, and Puduk as well. All of them have been, supporting us for a long time, going back to last year. So shout out to you guys. Thank you.
They're the day ones.
They're the day ones.
We're the day ones.
There we go.
This Tulane team isn't as talented as the 2022 team, especially on defense.
Agreed.
We'll have to see. I mean, I do agree with that, but a part of that is also we'll find out on Saturday for sure. But a lot of that is because their coaching left as well. So
yep.
Love how tight coverage our cornerbacks play nowadays. Remember our bend don't break defense attitude.
Oh my God, I hated that, dude.
Totally opposite of what we see now. We have very solid defensive athletes. Go ahead, Steve.
So he's talking about the old Bill Snyder days, specifically volume 2, where it felt like we were just playing 10 yards off every single time, trying to keep everything in front of us and force them to make mistakes and kick field goals. And it was absolutely maddening to watch that. And now K-State's playing bump and run. We're mixing up coverages, doing zone blitzes, doing all sorts of crazy things. We're bringing in other guys. Whenever Snyder was here, he'd only play the starters. Like, if you were a backup, you did not get to play. Now, Klanderman, Kleiman, they're intermixing guys to keep them fresh and getting a lot more, talent on that field and better athletes and more experience as well as you're bringing in more people. So,
well, of course,
100%.
And of course, the thing is that I feel like sometimes, especially in college football, you'll have these like moments where, like, yeah, you want to create an environment in the practice to where it's like, you can see everything you need to see to like get your starters out there, but you'll never know until you get out there on the game. And then sometimes you'll just have a guy who just shows up on game day. Let me just introduce you to a guy that is famous for this, and his name is Dennis Rodman. He was unanimously, or was like,
he's not the only one.
He was so known for being the guy that would just blow off practices. He would go to freaking Las Vegas, get drunk. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about,
I know two other players that fit that billing.
Dennis Rodman, he played with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. Sorry, I was watching a video about Michael Jackson earlier. He played with Michael Jordan in the last 3 years on the Bulls, and Dennis Rodman was a character and a half during that time. I mean, he really let loose, and he was just going off, doing whatever. And then he'd show up in the game after being drunk and high or whatever in Las Vegas, and then he would end up getting like 20 rebounds or whatever and just like popping off. So you never know what's going to I'm not saying that that's what K-State players
Derek Thomas was the same way for the Chiefs. Allen Iverson didn't like to practice. Derek Thomas was the worst practice player of all time, but yet he showed up on game days because he's always like, You're not paying me for practice. You're paying me for game days.
Right. I'm not saying that. I'm not. Don't get me wrong, viewers, K-State fans. Don't get me wrong. Don't spread rumors. Okay, I believe that the K-State players are there working hard every single day in practice. What I'm saying is, there's a difference between showtime and practice time, and something happens when you're under the lights and the game is on the line, and people just it changes. Sometimes people just like, I don't know what it is, but like there's people that can just they're clutch players and they just get out there and make things happen. And so you never know if that's gonna be the case if you never try to throw somebody in there like that. I was super shocked to see how well Joe Jackson was. I mean, that guy was amazing. I'm sure he's going to get a lot more touches as the year goes on.
But I mean, are you taking out Dylan Edwards or DJ Giddens? No, but I love the depth is what I like. I
love the depth. I mean, the thing is, if they get hurt, I'm like, okay, well, at least we have a solid running back behind him.
Yeah, but I agree. Parrish and Garber were sticky. Justice James was good. Outside of that one rep, I felt like McAllister was good. One guy that I think he has one stat for the entire game last week.
Siegel was good too.
Was McKendry Steiger. That guy was coming up making plays. They didn't credit him with a tackle, even though he was in on a bunch. He had that pass breakup where he really read it perfectly. He was playing a guy in front of him. They threw it behind him, and he ran back and tipped it. He was playing really well. K-State's got some nice depth for sure, specifically on defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Next one here. Get along.
I actually saw that they not the Green Wave, but the team we just played, they actually did that a few times, specifically on that interception that Avery threw. They dropped 7, they rushed 3, and it had one guy spying. Avery should never have thrown that ball. I mean, there was no spot for that ball to go whatsoever, specifically on the routes that we had going. But I could see them doing that. But also at the same time, he ran the ball 3 times. And I don't know. For me, as a K-State person, I don't know why you'd pass it that much when we already talked about how prolific this running game is and how much it leads to points and how good of how good his legs are. So I don't know, man. I don't know because you still got DJ and Dylan.
You want to establish the run because listen, if you establish this run, that's gonna break your receivers wide open for those huge big plays.
And Jason's his favorite target.
That's right. I mean, there's nothing more to say after that. It's just when you are so dangerous with your legs, the defense has to be forced to play that, play against that. I mean, and so you just got to keep the defense honest by throwing a lot of running at them, and then that'll break open those big pass plays that we can get away with. So
to answer your question, probably 30% because I feel like they might only do that on third downs. Yeah. Or they might just blitz on third downs to try to get him sacked. But the problem is if you blitz him, there's a lane. He's gone. He is gone. So We'll see. I don't know, man. I don't know how you would. If I want to see, I would just I would play bump and run on the corners, and I would just play 7 or 8 guys in the box against K-State to force them to pass. But at the same time, if you miss a tackle, DJ or Dylan or Avery is gone. So
look, Steve. We've already been over this before, but the offensive play calls were just so basic. I want to see some screens. I want to see some screen passes. Ways to move.
Yeah. So the screen.
I want to see some creative stuff. And I believe it can happen. It's just they didn't want to show their hand. I get it. It's a chess match. You don't want to show too much. Whatever you want to. Keep your cards close to you.
Yeah, they may think they know what we're going to do, but we have a new OC. Nebraska fan here. Y'all looking tough this year. Yeah, I appreciate that. I don't know.
Now get out of here. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding. I feel like Nebraska is going to whoop Colorado this week.
Oh yeah, for sure. Colorado, I never have bought into the hype. I never bought into the hype. I thought this was all smoke and mirrors, man.
And it is.
I said it from the beginning.
We'll find out more later this year, but I feel like Nebraska is going to put a whooping on them. I dislike Nebraska because their fans were pretty rude to me when they came up here, and I think it was 2010.
Yeah.
When I was a student, I got heckled by Nebraska fans in our own stadium and parking lot. I did not like that. I went to a Nebraska K-State game in Nebraska a couple years before that. It was not the best experience. Maybe there are some good ones. Maybe there are some bad ones. I've only interacted with bad ones, but I do feel like regardless, Nebraska is going to whoop Colorado this weekend.
Yeah, it'll be good to see.
We'll give our score predictions later in the show. So
they barely made it out of that other game against what was it, North Dakota or whatever, North Dakota State. They barely made it out of that game. And Nebraska, as much as I don't really watch your games. I'm really not a fan of you ever since you left the Big 12. But I'm thinking you're a better team than North Dakota State. So I really hope that you guys lay it into them.
They have a new coach as well, Matt Rule, who used to be at Baylor. So Coach Claney makes superb halftime adjustments. Yeah, I mean, he didn't even really have to do anything, right? Like, also about defense, the other team last weekend got inside our 15-yard line twice. Both times came away with field goals. And one of those times was obviously after that fumble on the kickoff by Jace Brown. So they had a short field, and Klanderman and company kept them out of the end zone. So, yeah, Klanderman, at least right now, really knows what he's doing. I feel like it's really good, the amount of people that were on the team last year that played a lot. It's only going to help them this year.
Steve, I think one of those times, even when it got to the 15-yard line, we even did a bunch of like tackles for loss.
Yeah, there was one or two sacks and there were some penalties in there and all of that. Yeah.
It was just, it's good to see that. And our last comment here until we get to move on to our next segment. Avery running the ball is an ace up the sleeve, but everybody knows we have it. Everyone knows we have it. He emphasizes everyone. So it's a wash. No, it's not.
We've hardly used it, man. And I understand. I was talking to a coworker today. It did feel like K-State wanted to practice their passing game against a team that was pretty bad against the pass last year. And it didn't really work out. And hopefully, in the future that does. That's why it feels like they probably didn't run Avery very much. I mean, he only ran about 3 times, and only one of those was a design play.
I don't believe that we actually showed the full potential of this offense. We had some very basic offensive play calls. I really believe that there is way more that we have up our sleeve than just the little bit that we showed. I mean, there's going to be reverses. With the running backs that we have, you better believe they've got some reverses up their sleeve. Are you kidding me? And then I'm sure there's going to be some QB options, like
triple options.
We didn't see any of that. So I understand that the frustration is like, oh man, all we got is like Avery just kind of run, like doing a little Michael Vick impression. But
he's more like Lamar Jackson than people give him credit for.
Yeah, but honestly, I want to give some hope to the K-State fans that there is a lot more to this K-State offense than what we saw last Saturday. You just got to believe, that it's a mind game. It's a mind game. Like Tulane's going to look at the film, and all they're going to see is the basic plays that we gave them. They're not going to. They know that Avery's talented. They know that they can't believe that that's all we have. So, but the thing is we kept our cards so close, they don't know what to really prepare for. So we'll go ahead and just leave it there.
We have so many comments coming up. We'll try to get to all of them really quick because we do have to move on. But he is so fast that he can be dangerous when other teams knows he's a threat to run. Yeah, I mean, it's just like you're lining up against Derrick Henry on 3rd and 1. You know what's coming, right? Like, doesn't mean you can stop it. No zone read Saturday. Otherwise, the score would have been 63-6. Yeah, absolutely. And there are so many variations and options off of that zone read that people don't even realize that you can do. And Avery's legs are another gear. Like, he's insanely fast. Keeping it until we need it. I agree.
Yeah, exactly.
I made some mistakes, 1 interception. Some of that is his to correct, but the offensive play calling should be adjusted as well according to the skill set to help him out. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, of course, the play calling didn't really do him any favors. But again, like I said, I want to leave a lot of room for some grace on the offensive play calling. I definitely believe that there's way more in the tank and up the sleeve for K-State. I don't think they just came out and showed everything that they can do. I don't even think it's close.
I agree.
I think we just gave them the bare bones of our offense. Like, okay, here's the standard plays that we run, every single year.
I mean, all you got to do is just do some zone reads, get some RPOs going, some screens, get Dylan Edwards on the edge, and then
Some
when
play,
when
yeah,
I
some
think
play,
about that,
some play action, and
here's some DJ Giddens right up the gut for 50 yards.
that's right.
So I mean,
All right,
there's so
Steve,
many options. It's nice. What's up?
we hit a lot of these comments, guys. Thanks so much for
Yes.
engaging on this episode. We really appreciate you guys watching. It really helps us out. This is sort of a fun thing for us to do on twice a week. But Steve, where are we going now? Because we talked a lot about.
I think we got to go with our score predictions, dude. Right? I mean, well,
right.
I have this pulled up as we're talking about the scores here. This is from collegefootballinsiders.com. Parker Fleming or Clemming, I can't remember exactly his name on Twitter. Last year we utilized this a lot. His model has K-State winning basically 34-17, covering the.
You have to put that a little bit. It's a little bit.
It's on the top right. It's right underneath their logo. What the projected score is. I could bring it up another way if you give me a second here. But yeah, I mean, every model. There's another one I looked at today that was retweeted by KSU_fan that has K-State winning, covering the spread every single time. It's not letting me share it for some reason. Let's try again.
Here's a good question, Steve, for you.
There it is. On a scale from demo to decline, how creative is the play calling going to be this season? I hope it's more close. I hope it's closer to Klein than Dimmel. But you know what? I mean, if Dimmel's the kind of play calling we're going for, DJ Giddens is going to get the ball a lot. So
yeah, yeah, exactly.
All right, so here we go. So they basically that's too much. Have K-State winning 90% of the time, minus 869. That is an insane projection there in terms of basically you'd have to bet $869 according to their projection to win $100. Projected score basically if you round it up 34, if you round it up to 17. A lot of green here for K-State in terms of efficiency, running the ball, offense, defense, everything.
I'm not seeing any of that. I'm not seeing any green there, but maybe it's just
it's there. It's not the same as it was last year in terms of how easy it was to read. But basically, you can see that K-State's, projected to win 90% of the time. So
right.
And I don't know about covering, and we'll talk about that in our score prediction next. But I don't see any way K-State loses this game. I just don't. They don't have the athletes we have, specifically on defense. I like K-State a lot. Kenny, what's your score prediction here?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the ride. I always like K-State. I always like K-State going over 40, especially non-con games that are like, not like SEC, like top 10 teams. But if it's a non-con game against a Division II school or a lower school or whatever, I'm going to go ahead and say 40. I'll say 45 to. I'm going to say 45 to 3.
I am not as confident as you. That's an insane score. If you ask me
after seeing that defense, how could you not be?
Yeah, but the offense, it wasn't as good, but we haven't seen everything yet. I don't see it being like that. That's a 6 touchdown win. That's insane. I'm going to say K-State wins. Yesterday I said K-State wins by 3, 27-24, but we're really breaking down the numbers and the film more. I got K-State winning 28-17, covering the spread by 11. Defense is going to give up some points because they do have some studs, at least outside. They are going to test us deep, but K-State's too good. They are too good. The kinks are going to get worked out on offense, but they have a whole nother level they're going to go to against Arizona. So I still have K-State winning and covering the spread. 28-17 is my score. What is your hot takes?
I'll adjust my score. That's a little bit too high hopey.
That's a 6 touchdown win on the road.
I'll say this. I'll lower it for K-State and I'll raise it for. I'm not going under 40 though. I'll go 12 for Tulane, and I'll go 40 won K-State.
I like it. I dig it. I dig it. Jor says 38-17 or 35-20. Yeah. I don't see our defense giving up 20. I just don't.
No.
But who knows?
I want our defense to stick around the ballpark of single digit scoring.
Yeah.
As long as I can. I'm giving them 12. That's way too. I think that's way too generous for me.
I could see in the 30s for K-State. They scored 28 against a pretty good defense at NC State last year in a bowl game, and we have a whole nother level that this team can go to. And I know this team isn't as good as them. Obviously, K-State's offense is still a work in progress. Damon Newell says 45-5. One more thing, I fully expect for at least hope that Dylan puts up some more impressive stats this game. He should definitely be involved more. Touch pass, jet sweeps, screens. Yeah, so here's what I'm going to say. All these numbers are going to be a lot higher because I do expect K-State to play the whole game because they're going to want to be in shape for a whole game before they go into Arizona the following week on a Friday night. And it's going to be a really hot game, so maybe there's going to be some more backups early, but I do expect K-State to play the whole game. So Dylan's definitely going to get more than 7 touches. I expect 10 to 12, and I expect around 20 for DJ Giddens. So 35-17, get along. A lot of muscle cramps.
Yeah. So my hot take is going to be I'm going to say that DJ Giddens gets over 200 yards rushing this game.
Oh, I love it.
That's my hot take. And I'm going to say we get an interception by my boy Parrish.
Dude, okay, so you're calling it like directly, like you are putting it out there. 200 yards rushing for DJ, interception specifically for Jacob Parrish.
That's dude. This is literally what hot takes are supposed to be. They're supposed to be hot.
Absolutely.
They're supposed to be hot.
Here's what I'm going to say. I think Avery Johnson is going to score 3 touchdowns in this game. Have 250 all-purpose yards passing and rushing in this game. I think he's really they're gonna let him loose, let him get going. DJ Giddens, he's still gonna have a great game. You already said something about him, so I'm gonna not say as much, but I think Avery Johnson's gonna get right. This is a get right game for him. Defensively, the other team's gonna be trying to come back, so they're gonna be passing the ball a lot. What does that lead to? Sacks. And usually what happens in a sack is what? A fumble, right? So I think K-State's
I thought you were about to say sack celebrations.
Yeah, we're definitely going to some sack celebrations. Shout out to Toby as well. He may even see that guy in New Orleans again, dude, because it's going to be in New Orleans. He might say, hey, watch me on TV tomorrow. But no, there's going to be at least one fumble recovery on a sack. And then there's going to be at least 1 interception as K-State moves from -1 to +1 in the whole turnover margin. So I got K-State winning 28-17. Avery Johnson, 250 all-purpose yards, 3 touchdowns. Defense getting 2 turnovers, 1 interception, and 1 fumble recovery on a sack. So we got a couple more. You want to highlight some of these here, starting with Curtis?
Starting with Curtis, we got, let's see, 49-9 punt return, touchdown, 3 rushing, 2 receiving, 1 pick, 6, and 2 field goals, 3 field goals for Tulane.
I love it.
My God, I love the score. You see, I like that score. I'm going to adjust my score one more time because I really don't want to give Tulane double digits. I just want to give them 9. I'll go all the way up to 9. And I'll stay at 41 for K-State. So that is my I know I've changed it twice already, but that is my final answer. If I'm going to put money on it, 41-9.
That's the K-State score prediction right there.
That's K-State score prediction. The hot take: DJ Giddens at least 200 rushing yards. If he does more, I'll take it. I'll take all the yards after that. That'll just be gravy. And then my boy Parrish is going to definitely reel in a sweet pick.
Love it.
Next comment. Oh,
I clicked on it. Sorry, we both can click on it.
By the way, thoughts on Dante Cephas? Not sure what to think right now. Perhaps it's still too early to tell. Same with Keegan.
They're both
Yeah,
they're both
Keegan.
going to be more involved going forward. I'm not sure it'll be this week. It'll be game by game. I mean, that's pretty common with any team. Some games, these guys are going to do good. Other games, these guys are going to do good. I feel like Dante Cephas, I didn't feel like his head was in the right spot in this past game. He dropped the pass. I mean, outside of that, he did like nothing. Keegan only touched the ball twice, and that's a returning guy.
Keegan has been such a frustrating player to talk
They haven't been
about.
utilizing him enough, man. He really I don't feel like they've utilized him enough. Both of them. There's going to be a game where Avery's going to throw for 300, 400 yards, and both of those guys are going to go off. I don't think it's going to be this weekend. I think K-State's really going to rely on the run game.
Do you think? Do you think Avery's going to? We saw the disappointing QBR for Avery, and obviously we saw the amount of yards he had, passing yards. It was under 200, and you see all these other quarterbacks that are hitting 300, 400.
I don't think he cares.
We even saw 500. I don't think he cares either, because he's really a dynamic player, and so he doesn't really care too much about the arm. But do you think he'll hit at least over 200 passing yards this game?
190.
190. Wow. Okay.
65 rushing. I said over 250, so he's going to have 255 total yards.
Okay. That's fair.
You should be extra fired up for this game for obvious reasons, so it might be a blowout. Could be. I mean, they have multiple reasons to be fired up for this game.
Yeah.
But also, Tulane's going to be fired up for this game. I mean, how many times are we going to have a big
12 Austin Moore was there, right? Austin Moore was there.
There's a lot. Brendan Mott was there.
Brandon Mott, that's right.
Odier, Panzer, DJ Giddens was on the team.
Was he? He must have been a freshman.
He was a freshman behind Deuce Vaughn. There was a lot of guys that are still on the team. Keenan Garber was on the team. So one of the targets was it was, and I do agree Dante will be fine.
Okay, let's see here. I have a feeling Stevens might have some breakout games as defenses key on his other teammates. No, for sure. That's why I was saying earlier. I said when I don't know why we would. The fact that everybody knows the threat that Avery Johnson has on his legs, that just makes it even better for us. I mean, it's the more threats you have, the better. And especially when you have threats, because it's not like Avery can't throw. We know he can throw. It's just, he had a couple that got away from him, but we see the potential though. I mean, we know it's there. So
I'm going to call it right now. This is Tuesday, September 3rd, episode number 4. Dante Cephas is going to catch a touchdown in the Big 12 championship game, and it's going to matter quite a bit. That's my
dude. That is your Babe Ruth. That is your Babe Ruth pointing to the outfield.
Yes, absolutely.
Right before you swing, dude.
By the way, yes, that's exactly right. By the way, we didn't talk about the special teams. It's going to play a factor in this game. K-State may get some really good field position, maybe even return one, block a punt. I don't know. The special teams is going to play a factor.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to see Parrish more. I think I like him. I kind of agree with Tim Fitz a lot. He was mentioning that he really likes it when you have defensive players like being a part of the return team, because when they get the ball and they get off the field, it's like they get that break or whatever. And so whereas vice versa, if you had like a Dylan Edwards, he would have to stay on the field or get off and then go back. It'd be just, so kind of strange. But with that being said, Steve, with the last 7 minutes, you want to take a look around the Big 12 and just kind of look at the games that we have ahead here and maybe do our
absolutely.
Do some quick score predictions, and then we'll just get the heck out of here. And then also, as Steve is doing that, I just want to thank everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe this video, and tell your friends, repost this on Facebook if you want. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
So here we go. This is our Big 12 predictions for this weekend. Starting out Friday night, BYU traveling to SMU, which is now another ACC team that this Big 12 is playing. SMU favored by 10.5, over under 55.5. I'm going to go first. I got BYU covering that spread. I do think SMU is going to win. I got them winning by 3, 31-28, hitting the over as well.
Really, you don't have BYU winning this? Interesting.
I do not.
Yeah,
I don't think. I do not think BYU can win this game.
I'm going to call the upset here. I'm going to say. I'll say BYU goes 27-24.
SMU wins, according to Damon. 27-24.
Yeah.
That does not hit the over. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on. We already said our predictions. We'll say it again. I have K-State winning 28-17. That is hitting the under. They must know what they're doing here, because that total over under is pretty low. We both have K-State covering. What was your score again?
41-9.
Okay, so you have K-State. Both of us have K-State covering. You have K-State hitting the over, and I have them hitting the under. Sorry, both teams hitting the under. So, also on Saturday, pretty big game. SEC Big 12. This is a huge game. Arkansas at Oklahoma State. What do you got?
I like Oklahoma State. I gotta go with my gut and go with Gundy here. I've always been a fan of his, so I'll say 30. I'll say 36 to. It'll be a close game. I'll say 36-35.
That is right around where I was gonna say. I do think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going to Price is Right you. I got Oklahoma State winning 38-35. Both of us have them hitting the over as well, but both of us have Oklahoma State winning but not covering.
Right on. No one cares about this game. No.
OSU wins. Yep, absolutely. Arkansas new QB impressed me last weekend. Yeah, I mean they're the SEC. They got some studs. But I think that OSU is going to be up for the challenge. Pitt at Cincy, I don't care. I'm going to pick Pitt in the upset here.
Yeah, I don't.
34-31 covering the over/under.
I'll just agree to save time.
Okay, pretty big game here. Baylor at Utah. That was a pretty close game last year. I believe this is a non-Big 12 game, just like K-State Arizona is.
Yeah.
The following week, Utah favored by 14, over under 54.5. I don't know what to think, man. I don't know what to think about Baylor. Utah's pretty good. 14 seems about right. I'm gonna have.
I just don't think Baylor's back yet.
No, I don't either. I'm gonna have Utah winning.
There's no way that they've bounced back from that horrible season.
38-24. There is neither team is winning that spread, but there is the overhitting.
Dude, I've got Utah with 40 points. I've got Baylor with like 18.
So Utah covering and hitting over as well. Love it.
Yeah.
Interesting. This game is on CBS and Paramount Plus. Big game. Iowa State at Iowa.
It's a cool game. I like this. I like this game.
I got Iowa winning this game. I feel like they found something offensively last week, and we know their defense is good. That over under is only 35.5. That is crazy low.
Well, I think it's because they think Iowa State is really good at containing teams. I don't know why. And then, but at the other end, they're also not good at scoring high either. They've always got low scoring games for some reason.
Iowa 5, ISU 2. I'm gonna say Iowa
5-2. That is the most bizarre score line ever.
24-10. Iowa covering but not hitting the over, which is crazy to think about.
I'll say Iowa does a little bit better. I think they'll get into the 30s. I'll say 31-14. I'll say that.
Okay.
31-14.
hitting the over almost by themselves. Okay. We don't have to pick this. West Virginia big.
Yeah, they're gonna want it too. It's at their home. Yeah, they're gonna want this big.
Same for UCF. I like them big. If I had to pick a score, let's say 49-14, covering the spread and the over under.
Yeah, I'll say 45. I'll say 45-9.
Love it. This is an interesting game. KU
Oh yeah,
at Illinois. KU favored by 5. Over under 55.5. I'm going to upset here, dude. I am. I'm going to upset. I'm going to go.
Same.
I'm going
Because I hate Kate. I just hate.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it. I got Illinois winning by multiple scores, 34-24.
It killed me so much to say that they were going to win the last game. I have to say they are getting upset here. So, yeah, I'll say it's going to be one of those weird games where it's like 21-27 or something like that.
Illinois with the win.
Yeah.
And you do not have him hitting the over. I do. Okay. Big game. Colorado at Nebraska. Nebraska favored by a touchdown and a half. 58.5 total. I got Nebraska winning big. I mean, big. They're pissed off after last year getting destroyed by Colorado. I got Nebraska winning 41-17. Man,
I think
that's hitting the under.
I think Nebraska fans are going to show out. I think they're really going to show out here. So, yeah, I've got them winning as well. I think they're going to hit 40, and Colorado's going to maybe get like 21. I'll say 21-41. 21-41.
Okay, so both of us have Nebraska covering. You have them hitting the over, me the under.
Yeah.
Moving on. Oklahoma's just going to absolutely embarrass Houston. I mean, it's going to be.
Yeah. It's going to be a 50 something to
63-0, dude.
Yeah, it's going to be 50 or 60 to. This is where Oklahoma just needs to play like all their next in line.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with all that. Yeah, OU by 1,000.
OU by 1,000.
Nebraska 31-14. Yeah. 63-0. What do you got?
I'll say I'll just price right to you. I'll be in the 50s. I'll go like 56.
56-0?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have faith in them right now. Houston's really bad.
Yeah.
TCU 70-0. I don't know what Long Island University has. Doesn't have TCU speed or athletes.
Yeah, I'll say this is going to be another whoop-de-doo kind of win. Yeah, we'll go. I'll assume that maybe TCU puts in like a lot of their third stringers, and so I'll just go around like 48-3 or something.
Love it. Northern Arizona and Arizona. Northern Arizona is actually a pretty decent team the last couple of years. I don't know what they have this year. I know that Arizona doesn't have a defense. I got Arizona winning 49-45.
Wow, that's crazy, dude.
That's a close score, really high over under.
I'm
not believing in Arizona, at least in their defense right now.
I'll keep the same, I'll keep the score like close like that, but it'll be like in the 30s. It's like 36-33.
You got some odd scores today. I love it. Texas Tech traveling to Washington State. I do think Washington State is going to win and cover. It is going to be high scoring. I'm going to say, after last week, 55-45. Yeah, heading over under.
Texas Tech?
No, Washington State with the dub.
Okay. I was wondering. I was like, not after what I saw. Yeah, Washington State, I think they're going to wipe. They only have them winning by 2. That's interesting. I think
Texas Tech does not have a defense. Them and Arizona should form a new defense.
Yeah. Actually, it would just be bad. It would just be the same thing.
Yeah, it would be really bad.
Terrible. Yeah, I got Washington State winning. I think they're going to win by a way more. I just feel like they're maybe more of a disciplined team. than Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech might get 20 points, but Washington State is going to come out with like 40, I think.
40-20?
Yeah.
Okay. Last game. Interesting game here. I'm not a believer yet in Arizona State, though they did look really good last week. I think Mississippi State's going to win something like 27-21.
Dude, I want to have faith in Arizona State. I want to put some faith in them. It's at Arizona State too, so another late game. So I'm going to put in Arizona State. If you please, just don't choke again this year. Just believe in yourselves. Just don't choke. I'll go Arizona State with 45 and Mississippi State 14.
Whoa, dude. A 31-point win? No way. No.
I want to see it happen. I want to see it happen.
That's I want that Arizona State to.
It's gonna be hot, dude. It's gonna be 103 degrees.
I want Arizona State to prove that dreams do come true. That's our Big 12 picks for week 2.
Also, to everybody watching, I have no idea what I'm doing when I'm picking these numbers.
No one does. I mean, you can be a professional and not know. I mean, no one knows what's going to happen.
You're like the weatherman. You're like the weatherman predicting the weather in Kansas. It's like, could be 80, could be 40.
It's literally. I mean, my car said 55 degrees this morning, and then later in the day it was like 90 or 85.
Yeah, it's unreal. It was unreal.
And literally that was like an 8-hour difference or 6-hour difference. So yeah.
Well, cool, man. This was a great episode. A lot of interaction with the chat. Appreciate you guys again. Please do not forget to like and subscribe, and we will be back on Sunday. We have no NFL yet, so
Chiefs play on Thursday, so I'm good anytime on Sunday.
Okay, yeah, same. Afternoon, I believe.
Fun show. We appreciate that, George. Thank you guys so much for supporting us.
Yeah,
appreciate all the day ones. Appreciate all the day twos. Appreciate everyone.
The day twos, the season twos.
Yeah, the season twos.
The late subscribers.
Anyone.
Yeah, but honestly though, what we always do 2 shows a week. We do it on Sunday, some point in the afternoon, and then we are always doing it on Tuesday for the pregame show. Post game shows on Sunday. Pregame show 6:30 p.m. We're not that crazy.
No, I am up. Actually, we're both up.
We're both up, but I'm like getting done with work, and you're about ready to get to work.
Yes, true.
So yeah, but 6:30 on Tuesdays for the pregame show, and then postgame show is going to be the Sunday after the game. Actually, we have a Friday game coming up after this. We might do one on a Saturday potentially.
Yeah, I mean that's our first volleyball game that you and I are coach for, man. We got our second practice tomorrow, man. I'm excited.
That's right. Well, anyway, thanks guys for tuning in. Steve, what do you have anything else to say as we get out of here?
Go Cats, baby!
Go Cats, baby!
Yeah,